to me that you have a connection with, and I just felt connected with him, and I'm so appreciative and honored to be able to speak to you today and to share some time with you. And I want to make it clear, number one, everything I'm going to say, you already know it. I know I'm in the presence of greatness. There's nothing but greatness sitting down in this room. Number two, everything I'm going to say, you've heard it before. Three, I don't want you to agree with me. And four, I don't want you to believe me. I don't believe any of it myself. I know it. So I want you to think about a major goal that you'd like to achieve this year. Major goal. And I want you to think about a personal goal that you'd like to achieve. And I'd like for you to think about your financial freedom number. You know, people say money won't make you happy, but everybody will find out for themselves. A friend of mine, Rita Davenport, say money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're as homely as I am, you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, he's got eyelashes like Tom Cruise, honey. I used to be so broke I walked past the bank and tripped the alarm. Creditors call the house of my children and answer the phone and say, my daddy say he's not home. So I want you to think about your financial freedom number, and I want you to expand it. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you based upon my own experience. That you have something special, you have greatness in you. And when I think about what Sean is doing, asking you to rock your gift, that is real. I believe that you're created on purpose with a purpose. For a long period of my life, I didn't know that, and so I wasn't living from that place. I know now that you are engineered for achievement and designed for greatness. It's in you. But we have been programmed to fail. We've been programmed to live small. And most of the program is subliminal. You don't really see it or notice it. It affects you. And when I began to reflect on my life, I was just talking to just a few of you that I could have been doing what I'm doing a long time, but because I didn't believe myself. So let me share with you, there were 7 main things I wanted to share with you in this limited time that we have. And that clock, what time is that? Does that clock work there? I want to be on time. What time does it have there? What time does it say? It's 2:15. Okay, very good. I'm going to shave it down. I'm going to edit and give you the Reader's Digest version. I want you to think about your goals, your personal goal, your financial goal, and I'd like for you to think about your social contribution. What will be different because you came this way? I was flying in last night and coming from Paradise Island, which I had a wonderful time. Kind of overdid it, laying by the pool with cocoa butter on and whatever. Had a good time. But I was with a young man and we started talking, and a very engaging conversation. And he talked about the different areas of his life. And at this stage of my life, I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. I'm 74. So when I look at my life, I've gone through some experiences. And so I want to share some things with you because my friend Sean is a guy that I admire, and I want to give you something that will be of value to you. So let's look at this. Number one, I want you to see where I'm going. What's most important as you think about your goals and dreams, your personal goals, your financial goals, and your social contribution. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. A part of what I do is now, at this stage of my life, we learn, we earn, we pass it on. I'll take someone and find out what is it they want to do with their life, teach them how to begin to be the voice for their dreams, their goals, their products, their business, their desire to attract more customers or to make themselves stand out and be able to dominate their niche. whatever that is for them. And I do this based upon my own experiences. And so one of the things that I have learned, if you have goals and dreams, one of the first steps is you have to have a program for yourself. So I want to encourage you. I want you to email me, write this down, and I'm going to send you some videos. And this is for your faith, because you're going to take some hits. When you have goals and dreams, things are going to happen to you that you cannot anticipate. And I had goals and dreams of doing what it is that I'm doing now. I've spoken over 51 countries, and I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you that you can do more than you can ever begin to imagine. When I consider my circumstances, born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, with a twin brother. We were 6 weeks of age. We were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. I stand on this stage because of two women. One gave me life. The other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hoped to be, I owe to my mother. And so I admired my mother's faith. She never had any children herself. She had a third-grade education. She worked for wealthy families on Miami Beach, and she cooked for these families, and we ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. And she kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And I, walking around these big, beautiful homes, I wanted to be able to buy something that was as beautiful as the palatial homes that we were cleaning. And I used to say, Mama, and she would say, what is it, Leslie? As I was walking around these big, beautiful mansions, and I said, when I become a man, I'm going to buy you something just like this. I was shining the shoes of Mr. Swiderski, who was a very wealthy guy, and every morning Mr. Swiderski would listen to Earl Nightingale, the strangest secret in the world. We become what we think about. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. Unbeknownst to me, my mind was being programmed. And so I want you to email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com, and I'm going to send you some videos that as you listen to them on a regular basis, it will help you to begin to develop mental resiliency and give you the strength to handle the hits. Because when you have goals and dreams that you want to achieve, it's like getting on an airplane. Before they take off, what is it they say? Fasten your seatbelt, because you're going to experience some turbulence before you reach a comfortable altitude. Am I right? Yeah. And so I'm just sharing with you what I know. Your faith is very important. Write this down. You will fail your way to success. One of the things that I'm disappointed about motivational books is they don't tell you that you're going to get your butt kicked. Things going to happen that you can't anticipate. Think it not strange that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. You will understand what Forrest Gump meant when he said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You know, I went through a whole lot. Went through a divorce from someone that I love very much. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer and passed through the 22-year breast cancer conqueror. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. The guy said, you have cancer. I said, can you give me a second opinion? Yes. And you're ugly, too. Oh, behave, whatever. So stuff's going to happen. Things going to happen to you or the people you care about. How many of you know that to be true? It's a process. And we're living in a different time now. This is a different time. The 40-40 plan is gone, where you can expect to go to college, graduate, and get a job and work for 40 years. How many of you know that program is gone? Raise your hands, please. Oh, yeah. How many of you know there's no such thing as job security? Raise your hands. You know, my sister, she's been working for a major bank for 22 years. They came in and said, Sharon, your job has been eliminated. And we brought the person in who's going to do your job. And in order to get your severance pay, you have to train them, and we will test them to see how good of a job you did. Come on, that's like going through a divorce and then your husband said, look, I need you to train my new wife. Come on. That's not right. Let us say together, that's not right. And that's happening all over the country. That's not right. And so, but it's called life. Stuff's going to happen to you. Your faith. You're going to take some hits. Life will catch you on the blind side. And your faith is very important. Very important. Because things are going to happen to you and people you care about. My oldest son had a stroke. How many of you have children? Raise your hands, please. He's 53. I don't care how old your children become, they're still your children. And at 53, when he had a stroke and they had to feed him through his stomach with a tube, and he dropped from 265 pounds down to 63 pounds, that hit me. I took a hit. I'm a 21-year cancer conqueror. And people say cancer feeds off sugar, but it thrives off stress. And I ignited it again in me because I was stressed out of my mind, concerned about my two sons who were going through a challenge. So your faith is very important. So I'm going to send you some videos that will fortify your faith, that will give you some strength, that will share with you things that I've learned and things that you already know. But sometimes it's good to hear from an external voice. Would you agree, please? Okay? Yeah. Here's the next thing that's very important. Family. How many of you know family is important? I remember when Aristotle, it was Jacqueline Onassis, she said, if I earn all the money in the world and my children on a mountain, you think, what have I done? Family is very important. So having a focus to not have balance, but integrate your time and your energy, not only in terms of pursuing your goals and having mental resiliency, but incorporating family. My second oldest son, Patrick, is here. And so my kids, we travel together. I want to build a business that will have meaning, will have impact, and I can incorporate my children. There's my son back there. Give him a round of applause. Step over there, Patrick. Hands and gentlemen right there. Thank you. So family is important. Other thing is finance. Let me share something with you. We're living in an incredible time. You can earn more money now than you can ever begin to imagine. More millionaires are being created. I just did a training called Discover Your Power Voice, how to speak to the world, how to leverage your knowledge, and write this down. Knowledge is the new currency. And so these people that I was training, and one came up to me and said, my God, I just had no idea that I had the ability to do that. And Kevin Bracey, what he was saying was, he just got the contract, and Kevin, that month, it was last month, he earned just over $65,000. And he said, man, I had no idea that I can do this. And he said, thank you so much. He said, and how many of you have ever had moments in your life you said, I can't believe I'm doing this? Raise your hands, please. And we all have those moments in our lives because we can do more. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. We know that to be true. Shake someone's hand on your right and left. Look them in the eyes and say, you have greatness in you. Do that right now. Say, you have greatness in you. So I've come to believe and to know, even though I don't know you, you have greatness in you. Just based upon my experience, based upon things I've seen, things that I experienced, and things that I'm doing now. You have greatness in you. You have the ability to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. So let us say together, faith. Faith. Together, everybody, faith. Faith. Family. Family. Finance. Finance. Fun. How many of you like to have fun? Helen Keller says, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And so I believe that. So this is my mother. And my first goal, as you think about some goal you want to achieve, my first goal was to buy my mother a home. That's what I wanted to do for her. And isn't she beautiful? Yeah. And she never had any children herself. And so she adopted Wesley and I, then Margaret Ann, and altogether she raised 7 children. And which one am I on, your right or your left? You know, I'm the cute one, all right? I'm on your left. And so we had some things we had to deal with. You know, in the book called Learn Optimism by Martin Seligman, he said between the ages of 0 and 5, a word is formulated in our heart. It's either yes or it's no, based upon the conversations you hear, the things you see, the experiences you have, the environment that you're in. For instance, President Trump, he and I did a tour a few years ago called Millionaires in Training. He was lamenting the fact that he had just received $14 million from his father. And how many of you, if you had $14 million, that would be your dream? Raise your hand. My brother and I had 2 pieces of sugar cane. He had $14 million. I had 2 pieces of sugar cane. Let me tell you something. Now, after I get through with you, you're going to say, you know what? I think I'm going to try out that sugar cane. I've never became a millionaire. I've earned just over $65 million changing lives. How many of you like to help people? Raise your hands, please. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, you would enjoy this. So here's something else. Write this down. Your story has value. If you're in multi-level marketing, you're an entrepreneur, you have a product, you're a consultant, you're a trainer, you're a life coach, you are the storyteller of your business, of your knowledge, of your experiences, your expertise, your ability to communicate that, your ability to share that, your ability, then write this down, presentation power will separate you from everybody else. When I became a speaker, and I joined the National Speakers Association. I have an NSA member that's here. Everyone told me, look, there's no way you can succeed in this business, and because there's so many speakers out there. Whatever industry that you're in, how many entrepreneurs do I have in here? Raise your hands, please. How many life coaches do I have in here? Raise your hands. How many speakers do I have in here? Raise your hands. Very good. You have to make yourself stand out. What I learned when I came into the business was based upon people regurgitating Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yeah, that to me was a joke. I'm 74. Hell, I couldn't think when I got on a bus in Miami and they had a yellow line that said, the people that look like me, you got to go and sit in the back of the bus. I couldn't think and sit in the front of the bus. That wasn't an option. When I was on Miami Beach, going to work with my mother, and they had signs that said, Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed, I couldn't think and use a public restroom, being in an environment where you're treated less than a human being, where you have to go on the side of the road to relieve yourself because the way that you look, which I had nothing to do with. I never forget when Larry King was doing an interview with a white supremacist, and he said, why do you hate black people? And he said, because they're black. And he said, and he said, so what? He said, I'm white. And then Larry asked him a key question. He said, what did you have to do with that? He said, what? He said, what did you have to do with your being born white? He just looked like here. So how many ever been told you couldn't do something? Raise your hands, please. You know, a lot of people don't realize, they're saying, just get over it. It's not just that simple. That when you go through stuff, when somebody treats you less than, when someone tells you that you can't do something, MIT did a study. The study indicated, what is your name?
Kim.
Kim. If I say, Kim, you can't do that, somebody else has to come along, Kim, and say, Kim, you can do it. Don't listen to Les. Kim, you can do it. 17 times to neutralize at one time. Okay? That's why we taught faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so we have to begin to deprogram ourselves. We have to have a strategy to engage in a process to help us to overcome the mental disrepair. I'll never forget, and I've got to see this movie. I never saw the movie, but I woke up in the middle of the night. It was on, starring Tom Cruise, called Magnolia. And there's a line in the movie that said, we might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so the training that I provide now is teach people, one, how to have a vision of themselves, cultivating an experience, how I train speakers, that if information can change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. And so what I wanted to do to make myself stand out, my mentor, Mike Williams, he taught me, he said, Brownie, in order to make yourself stand out, you want to be able to change people's lives. The industry has been hijacked. Most people, they get up, they speak to sell. Write this down. I speak to transform lives. I didn't want to be like everybody else. He taught me impact drives income. Brownie, you change people's lives, you're going to make some money. He's not lying. I earn $70,000 an hour when I speak in the United States. When I speak outside, I make $225,000 an hour. I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you. How many of you have a college education? Raise your hands, please. All of you have more knowledge and information in your little pinky finger than I have in my whole body. So I'm just validating that which you already know. I share a story. How many of you have a story? Raise your hands, please. How many of you gone through some stuff in your life? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have ever had life kick your butt? Raise your hands, please. How many of you had some failures and disappointments? Raise your hands, please. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, your story's got some money in it. Do that right now. That story has some money in it. And not just in this country. but all over the world. I was changing my shirt in a parking lot in India. And I laughed, and I heard a lady say, "Poppy, it's him." And they ran across the street, and she hugged me, and she said, "My husband heard a motivational video by you saying life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God, and you saved his life. He stopped from hanging himself." Let me share this with you, what I know. You have an energy signature. There are people, when I speak, that I'm going to reach. But there's people that you and I speak, we'll reach. But there are certain people that when you speak, something about you, something about the frequency behind your voice, something about you as the messenger, who you are, how you show up, that they will hear you and respond to you. And because they heard your voice, they will never be the same again. For the speakers that are in this room, here's how you can make yourself stand out. And I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version. Write this down. Distract, dispute, and inspire. When you speak, what you do with your story, and this is superior to information and facts. When you speak, your stories have a human face. When you speak, how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. When you speak, and Ann, you know this, and I work with you, what you do with your story strategically, you distract them from their story. And when you speak as a result of what you've experienced and what you've gone through, remember I said knowledge is the new currency. The knowledge they gain from you, they then begin to look at life differently because you dismantle their current belief system. Distract, dispute, and inspire. You inspire them to make new choices because they say to themselves, if Ann got through that, I can get through this. That you expand their vision of themselves and how they see themselves, which now changes how they see their circumstances or whatever they're faced with. Elsie Robinson was right. He said things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. You know, this is major. Write this down. What's your why? I wanted to take care of my mother. I promised her. I never forget, I was in the Ohio legislature. I just got reelected to my third term. I was the chairman of the Human Resource Committee, the Education Committee. And my sister called and said, "Leslie, are you sitting down?" I said, "What's wrong with Mama?" "Mama has breast cancer," the doctor said. "It's terminal. But don't worry, you know, they have a lot of nice nursing homes here in Dade County." I said, "No! No, you know Mama don't want to go to a nursing home. How can one woman raise 7 children who couldn't take care of themselves, but 7 grown people can't take care of one woman? No, don't touch her." I left the next day. I called a news conference. How many of you like to have somebody in your life that you love, that something happened to them, they can count on your being there? Raise your hands, please. When I rung the doorbell, Mrs. Mildred answered the door, a friend of my mother, and she said, "Mamie, Leslie's here." And I heard my mother say, "I knew he would come. I knew he would come." And so that's my rock. That's my baby. Yeah. So I remember, Mama used to get up in the morning. "Oh, Arthur's bothering me." I said, "Mama, who's Arthur?" She said, "Boy, don't worry. You live long enough, you'll find out." She's talking about arthritis. "Mama, why every Sunday y'all say, 'Thank the Lord for waking me up in my right mind this morning'?" She said, "Don't worry. You live long enough, you'll find out." I went in the room the other day to find something. I got in there, and I couldn't remember what I was looking for. I came out the room, remembered what I was looking for, went back in the room, I found it. Then I couldn't remember why I was looking for it. And my children said, "Daddy, you need some Ginkgo biloba." So I went down to Walgreens. I'm walking around, the lady said, "May I help you?" I said, "I forgot why I'm here." So they took me over there and gave me some vitamins. I took them home. Now I can't remember where I put them. So when I got up this morning here in San Diego, I said, "I thank the Lord for waking me up in my right mind this morning." I used to laugh at him, but now I'm whatever. Whatever. I'm sorry. My medication went off. I'm sorry, I got issues. Okay, so now write this down. Get a coach. Somebody who's achieved what it is you want to achieve. Somebody's doing what it is you want to do on that level. Why? Because you can't read the label if you're locked in the box. Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest. And he never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. You got to have someone with a trained eye that can see what you can't see. And so this is Mike Williams. Hey, Brownie, yes. You know why you go see Zig Ziglar and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Robert Schuller and Tony Robbins and all those guys? I say, yeah, because I like their message. Yeah, but Brownie, that's you. That's like you're saying, oh, come on, man. I can't do that. Listen, Brownie, you're always holding court around here. You're always making people feel good. You got a little funny laugh. You love people, man. You know what, Brownie? You're not going to be here long. You know they don't like you here. Yeah. Guess what? It's a blessing they don't. Come on, yeah. Bert is going to fire you soon, Brownie. He's going to fire you. You know why? And he just gave me a slip and I walked away. The slip said, the quote about Marianne White, when you don't have enough courage or insight to know you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on to you. I'd outgrown that place. And I didn't have enough courage to acknowledge that. How many of you have ever been in a place and it wasn't you anymore, but you did it to pay the bills? Raise your hands, please. But then you get to a point where you just say, you know what? That's not enough. I've had it. That's when people change. When they say, I've had it. Where are you going? Away from here. Because you're about to make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. You're about to make me act a fool. Up in here, up in here. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here. I tickled myself. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. My brother to be good. Now y'all know why they label me educable and retarded. So, I want you to get Mike Williams' book. Write this down. The Road to Your Best Stuff. The Road to Your Best Stuff. I wrote the foreword to that. He has been my strategist for 49 years. Couldn't find a Walgreens open that day. You see that gray patch up there? I don't play that. Homie don't play that. Couldn't find a Walgreens. I don't leave home without this. People look for the American Express. I look for my mascara. Oh, behave, whatever. You got to have strong self-esteem to break this out. I gotta tell you all this. I gotta tell you this. I was speaking in the Georgia Dome. Write this down. Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome to over 80,000 people, largest audience ever spoke to. So backstage, a lady came and said, Mr. Brown, our speaker canceled. Do you have enough energy to give another speech? I said, no, I'm tired. She said, we can pay you a full fee. I said, the Lord is able. Red Fox said, money can't buy you happiness, but can make a hell of a down payment. So I went over to the Georgia World Congress Center, and people were seated very close to the stage. So I went in the restroom. I got a little mascara out. You know, I put it because I've been sweating a lot. I'm hooking the stuff up, right? So I came to the end of the stage, and she said, there he is, Les Brown. I came up on the stage. She kissed me on the cheek. I kissed her on the cheek and left this big black splash on my face. So I didn't know what to do, so I just sat down. And so people start saying, there's something on your face. She looked at me, she said, what are they saying? I said, I don't know. So this lady comes up there and gives her a mirror. Now nobody asked her to do that, and getting in the Kool-Aid, don't know the flavor. She looks in the mirror, sees a big black smudge on her face, looks at me and said, how did this get here? I said, I don't know. You think maybe this rubs off? So I now use waterproof better instead. Our man has got to do what he's got to do. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, behave. All right, so make sure you get the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. How many of you believe that coaching is important? Raise your hands, please. I want you to text me if you're interested in that. I'm interviewing some people. So how many have a college education? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have ever given a lecture at Harvard University? No hands up? Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, that's in your future. Do that right now. That's in your future. Your ability to communicate, to present, gives you credibility. It's very important. It's very important. Your ability to communicate allows you to make a greater impact, to transform people's lives. And write this down, to navigate an experience with your story. When you get coaching and have a coach that can share with you two things in speaking. One, how to navigate an experience with your story. That's one. Two, how to do three-dimensional storytelling. Three-dimensional storytelling. That's a process that will make you stand out in the marketplace. And so the ability to do that, I'm going to share with you what works. I received the Heisman Award from the National Speakers Association called the CPAE Award. And I'm not saying this to impress you, but I'm telling you this works. How many of you want to know what works? Raise your hands, please. How many have ever heard of Toastmasters? Raise your hands, please. Yeah, the Golden Gavel Award. That's their highest award that they get. And then they selected the top 5 speakers on the planet: General Norman Schwarzkopf, Leo Coca, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey. Good day, he's a master. And then myself here. And so I'm saying to you that you have the ability to do more. Here's something I encourage you to do. I got this from Earl Nightingale. Get a 3x5 card. And Matthew I'm not a religious person. Religious people are afraid of going to hell. I'm a spiritual person. Spiritual people have been there. Huh? So get a 3x5 card. Write on one side the goal that you want to achieve. On the back side, have ask and it will be given to you. Seek and ye will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks the door will be open. Read that 3 times a day. Why? Most people will not achieve their goals because they are victims of what I call weapons of mass distractions. I don't take a phone call unless, and I want you to write this down, start monitoring yourself and watch what happens. I won't take a phone call. Number 1, it's got to be positive. That's number 1. Number 2, it's got to be purposeful. Is it in alignment in the direction where I'm going with my life? I don't have time to waste. I'm my 74th year on the planet. It's got to be positive. It's got to be purposeful. Next thing is it productive? Is this a good use of my time? There's some things I've got to get done. We have an expiration date, ladies and gentlemen. I remember when I was married to Gladys Knight and we were in Vegas and Frank Sinatra was seated at the table and the guy was talking about the fact he lost his son, and Frank Sinatra said something I'll never forget. He said, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. Wayne Dyer and I had planned to do a PBS special when it was announced that the Trump administration had cut the budget for public television. And he and I had raised more money for public television than any of the other presenters. So we kept going back and forth, back and forth. We agreed. We both had the same mentor, a guy named Jack Boland out of Warren, Michigan, Church of Today. And so then he called me and said, hey, Les, I'm coming to Orlando. Let's get together and let's ink this deal with PBS. I said, great. Then a few days later, somebody said, are you online? I said, what? No, I'm not. You won't believe this. What? Wayne is gone. What do you mean gone where? He's gone. He's out of here. Had a heart attack in his sleep. Wow. And so, you know what? I'm going to put things off. I see some moment. I don't know what your why is. How many of you have children? Raise your hands, please. These are my children. So on the left, Calvin dropped from 265 down to 63 pounds. He's coming back. Trust me on this. Miracles still happen. They happen. And doctor standing in his room saying, young man, you will never eat again the way that you're accustomed to eating. You will always have a tube in your stomach. You'll never be able to swallow your own saliva. You'll be spitting in a disgusting cup. Those cells in your body, from your brain to your esophagus, if they haven't been activated in a year and a half, they're dead. So he said, cancel this specialist, cancel this specialist. Get used to it. This is your new normal. And 2 clinicians on that team, they looked at each other. They were shocked. And my son noticed that. So this guy filled out the chart, walked out of the room, and they turned to walk out. He said, excuse me, can I see you for a moment? I said, yes. why did the two of you look at each other like that when he said that to me? And so they looked around and said, if you think like a hammer, everything looks like a nail. He doesn't know whether or not those cells can be activated again. You're not an old man, you're 53. Listen, here's my card. I have my own private practice. And come to our clinic. If I can't help you, you don't owe us nothing. Everybody repeat after me, please. Take another look. He went there. The first visit, he was able to swallow his own saliva. The second visit, he could swallow water and soup. The third week, he could eat soft food and swallow. And 8 days ago, they took the tube out of his stomach. So that's in there. That's Patrick, my youngest daughter who runs my life, Serena, and my oldest daughter, she's a coach and speaker, and my son John Leslie, who's a speaker and coach. So I wanted to create something. Let us say together, build a legacy. Build a legacy. Together, please. Build a legacy. How many are going to build a legacy? Raise your hands, please. I'm in this place where Leo Tolstoy, he said, as I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? And I believe that Sean, with Jaden, he's building a legacy. With you, he's building a legacy. How many of you are coaches? Raise your hands. And those of you that are speakers, raise your hands. The people that you impact and whose lives you transform and influence, and the people they impact and whose lives they transform and influence, we're in God's pyramid. That work will not be undone or destroyed, even after we're gone. Does that make sense? Yes. Yes. Now, I want to... There are 4 other things, but I'm going to end on this. Repeat after me, please. You got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. Together, you got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. I never forget this man who had tremendous impact on my life. I eulogize him, Mr. Leroy Washington at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, Florida, in Overtown. I went in his class looking for another student. He said, young man, go to the board and work this problem out for me. I said, sir, I can't do that. Why not? I'm not one of your students. I'm just here to see MacArthur Stevens. He said, work it out anyhow. And I said, I can't, sir. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley's smart. He's DT. What's the DT? He's a dumb twin. And the students erupted in laughter. I said, I am, sir. Then he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. Yeah. And that was a turning point on my life. On one hand, I was humiliated. But on the other hand, I was liberated because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And he became my mentor. And he said, what do you want to do with your life, young man? I said, I want to take care of my mother. I want to make her proud. He said, He said, how do you plan to do that? I said, I love radio. He said, good. He said, here are my car keys. I said, what do you want me to do with them? At 12 noon, there's a guy named Paul Harvey who comes on the radio. He has a program called The Rest of the Story. He's the world's greatest communicator. He said, if you want to do something, find someone who's doing that on the level that you want to do it, and invest in yourself. Be mentored by them. Listen to him and study him on a regular basis. I said, yes, sir. And I listened to Earl Nightingale for years. I mean, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. Always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Winston Churchill, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Zig Ziglar, if you give enough people what they want, they'll give you what you want. I listened to these minds and I studied them to find my own voice. You've got a voice. You have a power voice. Get some coaching. Invest in yourself. Because there are people waiting to hear your voice. I don't have time to tell my final story. I'm out of time. So yes, the light went off here. I gotta do this thing.
2 minutes?
5?
Talk fast.
Okay, you're good. All right, let me go. What did you hold that up again?
Did you say 2 seconds?
Yeah, I have 5. Okay, okay, very good. Repeat after me, please. You got to be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
I told him that I was interested in radio, and he said, "Mr. Brown," he said, "in order to be successful, say 3 things are most important. 1, write this down: your mindset. That you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Be not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That's an ongoing process. That's why I want you to email me, and I'll send you these videos. The next thing is your skill set. There's a book out called Average is Over. Whatever you want to do, you want to find something that you master, something that you own, something that's you. You were not born just to work for a living, but to live your making, and living your making will make your living. Your gift will make room for you. And the third thing is, and this is major, create a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. That's what Sean is doing with you. Create a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. When I found that out, I got all the broke people out of my life. See, y'all gotta go. Don't go be mad, but get out of here. All right. Well, can I change them? No. It's a full-time job changing yourself. And there's some people so negative they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. Oh, behave, y'all a little slow right now. Oh, no, he didn't. Yeah, he did. So he told me, he said, "Listen, here's my card. Want to be a disc jockey?" He said, "Practice, write this down. OQP, only quality people." And so he said, "Here's my card. Go to WMBM radio station. Milton Butterball Smith is the program director. Tell him I sent you." Write this down. Relationship capital. Relationship capital. There are people here that can help you. And there are people here that you can help. And so you want to communicate and find out who's here and develop some key relationships here. I'm here because of my relationship with Sean. And I am Sean's gift to you because of my love and commitment to him and my admiration for him. That's why I'm here. It's called relationship capital. And so it's very important that we develop that today. And it's one of my business partners that we've worked together, and I love you, Aunt Bennett. And it's relationship capital. And so as you look at your goals and look at your dreams, my son John Leslie has a question. Who should you count out? And who should you count in? There's some people, they're always there when they need you. But when you need them, you can't find them. How many of you know that to be true? Raise your hands. Yeah. So anyhow, I went to WMBM radio station. Milton Butterball Smith was the program director. "Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey." He said, "Young man, do you have any journalism in your background?" I said, "No, sir. I don't, but I practice all the time. I visualize myself being on radio. Allow me to audition for you, sir." He said, "No. We don't have any job for you." How many have been rejected? Raise your hands, please. I was devastated with rejection. I went back and I said, "Mr. Washington," they said, "No." He said, "Don't take it personally. Most people are so negative they have to say no 7 times before they say yes." He said, "You got to be hungry." Go back again. I went back again. "Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey." He said, "I know what your name is. Weren't you here yesterday?" I said, "Yes, sir, I was." He said, "Didn't I tell you no yesterday?" I said, "Yes, sir, you did." He said, "Then why are you back today?" I said, "Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir." He said, "No one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here." I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy, like I was seeing him for the first time. "Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey." He said, "I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days?" "Yes, sir." "Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days?" "Yes, sir." "Then why are you back today?" "Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not someone got sick or someone died, sir." "No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now don't you come back here again. I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy, like I was seeing him for the first time. I said, "Oh, Mr. Washington, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you?" He looked at me betrayed. He said, "Go get me some coffee." I said, "Yes, sir." My favorite book says, "The greatest among you will be your servant." How many of you are serious about your goals? Raise your hands, please. Write this down. Provide more service than you get paid for. What made me stand out in the speaking industry is governed by the Dale Carnegie course, which is a great course. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them, and then tell them what you told them, right?
Yeah.
My training, how I train speakers, is totally opposite that. I say to my speakers, never let what you want to say get in the way of what your customer wants to hear. And all that getting, get understanding. Ask them. Conduct communications intelligence. Do your research. Find out what is it they want. Send them a needs assessment. And how many of you be interested in looking at that? Raise your hands, please. I'll send it to you. Ask for it. Say, send me the needs assessment. Take my name off it and use it for yourself. Let me share this with you. When I did that, things can be verified. Brian Buffini and Associates, real estate company. I spoke for him. I came in, interviewed him, his top salespeople, and after I finished, I wrapped it up with their quote, "Oh, we're never too busy for referrals." He said, no one, and I've had everybody, ever came in and interviewed me, my marketing people, the top performers, and then you got on stage and you delivered the training. He said, "I want every speaking engagement you have for the rest of the year." He said, "I've never had this experience." When you make yourself stand out, not to satisfy your customers or to please your customers, but to amaze them with your research and the knowledge and the energy and the time you put in getting to know them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. Write this down. Give before you ask. Give before you ask. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Establish a reputation as a go-to person, as a resource person. And so I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I go get their lunch and their dinner. I stand in the control room watching them work their hands on the control board, knowing my time would come. And then the disc jockeys sometimes would give me their car keys to pick up entertainers that came to town. Donna Ross and the Supremes, the Four Tops and the Temptations. I would drive these entertainers all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys, big long Cadillacs. Didn't have a driver's license, but I was driving like I had some. And then one day, it was a Saturday afternoon, a disc jockey was drinking while he was on the air by the name of Rockin' Roger. He got so drunk he could not complete the show. He began to slur his words. Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, rock, drink. Drink, rock. Gotta go and get him some more if he'd ask me to. And then pretty soon the phone rang. There was a general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, "Hello?" He said, "Young boy, this is Mr. Klein." I said, "I know." He said, "Rock can't finish his program." I said, "I know." He said, "Would you call one of the other DJs in?" I said, "Yes, sir." I hung the phone up. I said, "Now he must think I'm crazy." I called my mom and my girlfriend Cassandra. I said, "Y'all come out on the front porch and turn on the radio. I'm about to come on the air." I waited for about 20 minutes and I called him back and I said, "Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody." He said, "Young boy, you know how to work the controls?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Go in there and segue the records, but don't you say nothing here." I said, "Yes, sir." I couldn't wait to get old Rock out of the way. I put on a fast record. I said, "Look out, this is me, LB Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There was none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, big yum, your love man. I was hungry." Give the old man a round of applause. Come on, bring it in, bring it in. Shake sometime on your right and left in front of you and behind you and say, you gotta be hungry. Do that right now, please. People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry hold themselves to a higher standard. People that are hungry never let what they want to say get in the way of what their customer wants to hear. They conduct communications intelligence. I don't know what your goals are. Here's what I know. I only attract millionaires or millionaires in training. Give yourselves a round of applause. You can be seated by the pool, but I want to leave this with you. I love and respect Sean and his work. He's my brother from another mother. We just connected when we met. And I feel honored to be here to serve you. And I'll be here until tomorrow. I'd like to leave this with you. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a speaker, you're a coach, here's what I know based upon my experience. We're living in an incredible time. This is the era of what the late Peter Drucker calls the era of the 3 C's: accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. But the greatest competition is yourself. I kept myself on the sidelines, on the bench, because I didn't have faith in me or my dream or my ability. So I like to leave this with you. My mother loved it. Mama was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. And I dedicate this to you. Put your hand over your heart, please. Feel that pulse. That pulse. That pulse. You were created on purpose, with a purpose. That pulse, that heartbeat represents life. Life is God's gift to you, and how you live your life is your gift to God. Rock your gift. Leslie, yes ma'am, Mama. Say that thing for me, boy, that makes me feel good. I dedicate this to you and the dreams that's in your heart. Live not from your mind, but your heart. When there's an argument between your mind and your heart, follow your heart. Lean not unto thine own understanding. The things that the heart knows that the mind cannot comprehend. It says simply this: if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and sleep for it. If all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish or gulf, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you'll get it. Rock your gift. You're God's miracle child. It's something you're supposed to do. You have something special. You have greatness in you.